Well, hello, Robert Heffernan. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. We live in a world that spins, so it's different everywhere where we are. EndoTech, AI for FinTech. Robert Heffernan again, Master Endotechnician. And this is BlockChain Vitals. It's our weekly segment, talking that weekly fractal. And man, did I try to thread the needle too closely. Well, we're going to get into that, and we're going to go right to the vitals. No time to do the rounds today because we have to talk about these weekly fractals in our top 8 coins. So we're going to do that. But, well, you know what? Let's just take the vitals and talk about real price activity. Taking the vitals, our chance to actually talk about price discovery where it matters, right? No whispers, nothing that you read or heard, just what the chart is telling us from mostly a standard deviation fractal here on the weekly. For sure, this daily sheet shows you the value range and a pivot model that are incredibly helpful in your journey. If you are day trading these things, please pay attention to value ranges, pay attention to pivots and targets, as they are a great way to keep discipline, to add layers of discipline into your trade. And for my money, as long as I've been in the markets, I have never known somebody that is completely undisciplined that traded great for a long period of time. Anyway, you can occasionally be undisciplined and get lucky, but by and large, the undisciplined traders end up selling insurance. Not that selling insurance is bad. I know plenty of guys that are killing it in the insurance field. Anyway, Bitcoin right now trading 9,819. This is what I want to talk about. 9,819. First, let's just talk about where it is. It's still in upmo on the daily. You see at 97.63, that momentum level on the daily. And a lot of room now back to retest that momentum level on the weekly, all the way down at 9,069. But more importantly, the nuance that I want you to pay attention to, last week's up momentum collar on the weekly was 9,950. Now we outperformed that level, and I had talked last week about thinking that these things would go test the monthly momentum level, 10,234, where I thought there was going to be an argument. Well, so I was working that area, and they made a high around 10,151, depending on what exchange or over-the-counter market you are participating in, but never got to that level, and now well off of it. And I'm kind of kicking myself, like, why did I just want to play for that monthly level when I could have played that weekly collar and banked and had profit? Because I don't. It's not out of the realm of possibilities that we retrace a bit here. And for my money, a full retracement down to 9,069, I don't think that's very likely, but it's for sure within the realm of possibility. More importantly, what I want to talk about in Bitcoin in particular is the setup now on this weekly chart. And you've heard me say before, potentiality. Expanding potentials or contracting potentials. And what I mean by that is on the standard deviation analysis, are these bands contracting or expanding? Anyway, last week, as I said, the momentum collar was 99.50. This week, we have a complete kick on the line out to 10,973. Now, we have not had expanding bands or expanding potentiality in Bitcoin since April. But in April of last year, it was because we were expanding potential. The expanding potentiality was to the crater, right? Not to the moon. Anyway, and the last time that we've actually been in this type of situation, we were where we are in up momentum daily, weekly, and having expanding potentiality on that collar level was all the way back in April of 19 is when we had the expanding, and I messed it up. The last time was September when we fully cratered. The last time that we've been in expanding potentiality to the upside and in up momentum was in April of 19, and that's when we came out of the lows here and went from the $3,000-$4,000 level up to the $13,000 level, nearly making $14,000. Now that's not a guarantee that that's where we go. I'm just telling you that that's how the chart setup is. So we haven't been in this position since then, and so that's we talk about health or sickness of an asset or an asset class, and we have not been this healthy in a long time. Anyway, that's what I'm seeing, and so I was not able to exit my BTC longs. So I'm kind of in a quandary here. For me, I like to look longer time fractal, but when I see if this thing fully rolls over and we take out this daily up momentum level, 97.63, I would have no problem pitching, going flat, and looking for a retest to enter from the long side. I am more of a beta player on these things, and so that's the way I kind of look at it. Wait for a different level, longer term time fractal to join the fray from the long side. Anyway, Ether right now trading 221.95, and I did actually do better. I got out of my Ether up in the 220s. Right now, up momentum on the weekly Ether, 188.79. Room out to 245.99 to that collar. And that's going to actually get us back into up momentum on the monthly in Ether, 231.72. XRP trading, XRP. Got to check the board. XRP trading, 277.22. Up mo on the weekly, 25.25. Room out to 30.30. And it's just, this thing has got it's been so flatlined. The monthly average up at 29.90. I just think there's a lot better stories out there from a chart perspective. Forget about the fundamental story. I had an old floor buddy call me and talking XRP, and I said, if you like X's, there's a lot better story to be told than XRP. I mean, XTZ, we've seen what that's done. XMR, XLM, a lot better X's than XRP as far as I'm concerned. Anyway, moving on. Litecoin right now trading 73.80. 73.80 Litecoin. It's well in up momentum now on the weekly. That momentum level 64.21. Room out to 86.93, and kind of not nearly as good looking, from my opinion, as Bitcoin, but you got to look at that cross to fine tune that one. Anyway, EOS trading 487, up mo on the weekly 405, so well above that. Room out to 566. That's going to come right into that monthly momentum level is 554. And, these things are looking more explosive. So let's look at the collar level then in EOS on that monthly, room all the way out to 826. And when I'm talking about these extensions, these collars, especially on the monthly, what I'm trying to tell you is please be that guy that takes chips off the table, that banks winners. The fear of missing out is the worst thing to have as a trader, whether it be not getting out of losers or holding winners because you need to have that round trip home run. Please take some of your money off at these, not production. It's just an overachieving level. That collar is an overachieving level, and it's a great place to be taking profits. BNB, actually, we had a full touch. Right now trading 24.99. That up momentum collar on the weekly was 26.45. They went up there and traded that, and that's what I mean. If you work in that collar level, 26.45, when you're $1.50 off, you are sure glad you took chips off the table. And you can always re-enter, and maybe you're going to re-enter and you're going to shitty up your average. But believe me, long term, taking profits at collar levels is never a bad idea. All right, you know what? We needed to do this for your EOS and BNB daily sheet numbers. Again, pivot levels, value ranges, exceptionally good things to be paying attention to, especially if you're a day trader and you're in and out. Great places. The third target on the pivot, fantastic profit levels to be paying attention to. Anyway, as we talked about XTZ and the X as being a better story than XRP, XTZ with the full-on moonshot here over the past couple of weeks. And now on the weekly, room out to 284. XTZ trading right now 260. And this is the flip side. I didn't get my Bitcoin, all right, so I have fear of missing out there. Although I'm not going to let me lose some sleep. I did exit XTZ, though, and had a great run. Bought, I don't know, 194 somewhere in there, 199s, and sold 240s when they had blown through the collar on the weekly last week. Right now, 202 is the upmo level on the weekly, and completely outperforming now, even on the monthly. Now, the monthly, that collar was 228. So when they were at 240, I'm like, you gotta bank this, man. And now we got room on the weekly out to 284. And this is where it really gets difficult if you take all your chips off the table on where you re-enter. For sure, I'm hoping to re-enter back below 240 where I got out. And I would love to see a retracement to around the 202 level, to that weekly momentum level where I can jump in. But sometimes when things go parabolic, Tesla being the most recent example of parabolic moves, is sometimes it's befitting to keep a portion, even if it's 10 or 20% of that position on, once these bands start to expand like they are in some of these charts. Because you don't know how ridiculous the market might get. And as we've seen, the market can get extremely ridiculous. All right, and last but not least, ADA on the weekly trading 0593. Upmo on the weekly 88, 0511. Room out to 0691. And 0734 is the monthly momentum level, 0734. Room out to 1074 on the monthly, so still lots of room in ADA. In fact, lots of room in most of these on the monthly chart to the collar, except for XTZ, which has already done its job from a potentiality standpoint. Anyway, that's what I'm seeing. Please be disciplined, trade discipline, mind the mo, and thank you so much for watching.